Hi, this is Kim Pinkney and welcome to my channel. Alright, today I'm going to show you how I do a couple of these pins. And from these pins, I'm going to be, they're made from Shrinky Dinks. And I had bought some Shrinky Dink paper from online. And the set that I had bought called Heat Shrink Sheets by Auihiay. Well, that's it. But I bought this particular set, and I decided I was going to go ahead and try it out because I wanted to add a little something to my hoodies. And so I am designing a hoodie for my son's birthday, and he has symbols from Seifer's jacket, one of those Final Fantasy characters. And so I decided to do a little chibi character for him. So this is the process. Pretty much you have two sides to this type. One side is glossy, and the other side is kind of rough. And you're cutting on the rough side because it really takes your pencil from there. And it does kind of wear you out a bit. The paper is really rough, so you gotta really kind of expect that. But what happens is that once the paper shrinks down, spaces that you see in between, they all seem to kind of disappear as it condenses. It's one thing to keep in mind if you're going to use something like paint. I use paint on the second one. This one is all colored pencil with some markers. And markers work really well. Pens work really well. Once they dry, they didn't bleed, I don't think. So I had to give them a chance to dry under a fan. I had done the pants and I didn't like the effect of the colored pencil, so I eventually go and over that with a brush pen. There we are. And I thought it would look a little bit more impressive with a darker outline, so I'll probably be adding that outline in a little bit. So I tried to get a little creative. I wanted it to be a little bit more vibrant. I had a hard time kind of layering colors. Like I wanted him to be a peach color, and I wanted to have like a darker peach as a shadow and whatnot like that. But that's how the coloring came out. Next thing you do is out something that maybe he could use on his zipper. But I'm like, yeah, I'll just go ahead and make this into a pin. That's when I had the idea to go ahead and attach that to the hoodie strings. So as I cut this out, I'm trying to keep in mind how much of this do I want to hang out. Like I was really hesitant to leave that little part of his hair off because I thought it might break off or it might be too sharp. And once I tried to, I believe, flatten the image, something I did, but it popped his little hair off. So I'm like, okay, good to know. So you don't want an area that's like too jagged or too thin. It will snap off. So I trim as much as I can, or what I think can handle it. And this is my very first one. I'm like, he's a little cutie. And just do a little bit more trimming. But I had outlined him a bit, so you'll see like a bit of an outline on him. And it kind of makes his face stand out and things like that. So that was the size. And then I decided instead of sticking it in the oven, I like watching them melt. I became addicted to watching these things just kind of curl up and, give you that heart racing panic that it's not going to straighten out. But I didn't put the paper or aluminum foil underneath it. I totally forgot until I started, trying to get it to heat up. So I gradually applied heat to certain places so that it wouldn't fly all over the place. And it didn't melt anything, so I was kind of happy about that. It did take a bit for it to go to its final stage, so I pulled it off the plastic there and got my little roll of tape, and I would roll it to get it to its final flat stage. And then I would apply resin to it, but like a dumb bunny, I put the back on first, and then I'm like, so it was kind of awkward applying the back on, which I looked at it, I'm like, you know what, he is still kind of warped. So I tried to flatten him out again, and the heat made the back air fall off. So I missed the resin stage filming that, but he's covered with resin. Everything melted pretty well. I did use metallic paint pins, and okay, on to the next one. Alright, so I had drawn an image, and then I went ahead and transferred it onto Faber again. And this time I'm going to get a little creative. I'm going to try it with some paint. And then the next one, maybe the next video, I'd like to try it with maybe some crayons. I heard that the crayons didn't work, so I want to see what she was talking about. The colored pencils work really great. And I'm using a combination of Prismacolor. Well, I think all of this is Prismacolor. And what's the other one I've got here? I just grabbed whatever I had nearby. Well, Polychromos. I had a couple Polychromos pencils to tap into that, and was using that. That's the browns there that you see. And I ended up using a little bit of baby oil to get it to kind of blend together, even though it wasn't necessary. I just wanted to see if I could do it. I do use Crayola. I wanted to see if my thing and fill in some of those gaps that are left behind in the process, because it's like coloring on what is that paper? Watercolor paper. And you know how it has a lot of tooth to it. Well, you see a lot of tooth in this as well. It'll eat up your pencil, but in a good way. So, getting stump and try to blend some of my colors together. And this is a design that my daughter had come up with. I just want to do a play on what she had come up with. It was like a woman that merges into a pick, a hair pick. So I decided I was going to do her drawing, and I really liked how hers came out. But I missed out getting a pin of my own of hers. Hers was actually a metallic pin, as mine is a shrinky dink. But I think if she decides that she wants to give them to her subscribers and her followers, that this is a really way to go to give a gift or a giveaway. And the words that are there say untamable, and just about when it gets smaller, it's almost unreadable. But then again, I put a lot of stuff on there, so if you do decide to put some words or anything like that, just keep in mind that it's going to shrink to like a quarter of the size that you see, which is not a bad thing, because all those little gaps that you see, all the little tooth that you see, it all kind of merges together. Now, I can't draw a straight line to save my life, so I eventually break out a ruler. Before I had done the hair, I painted that with some color shift paints. They're acrylic paints, and they do have a texture to them. If you do a couple of layers and you do some swirls and stuff like that, it'll leave a texture. Now, what was really cool is that texture came out when it shrinks down, so it actually looks like she has a fro. I thought that was pretty awesome. So I'm going to try to use that effect again, maybe for like teddy bear, if I do a teddy bear or something like that. But there's nothing like seeing your artwork. You know, I'm always trying to find a way to wear my artwork. I decided to use a couple different colored pins on the shirt area. And some of it has, I put glitter on the earrings. I used the same paint on the earrings. And on the earrings, they came out super sparkly. I was really happy about that. Because you see how small it is already. Once it condenses down, the glitter like has no other place to go but together. And it's super sparkly. There is a little bit, but there's a lot on her earrings. So you'll start to see them sparkle once I get it down to size. I did another color shift paint on the bottom of the hair, the shadows. And I did a color shift of the purple on her hair and in her makeup. And then at the very end, I'll apply like the little other bling items. Okay, so did a little pink on the tongue, just doing a one more quick look. Now I had a hard time with the glare from my lights, so it may look kind of you as well. So all that is the paint, the color shifts and stuff like that, the metallic colored pens, not colored pencils, I'm sorry, pens. Words are hard on a Saturday. So I'm just blending my colors together, and it took the baby oil very well. So I know I can use now a solvent to blend my colors together. So I can use paint, I can use glitter, I can't, because that was one of my concerns, is this stuff gonna like catch up and I'll be sad. But it turns out really well. Even those crooked lines that I have on my pick area, it turns out okay too. So now the point is to cut it all out. I wasn't going to cut out each of the individual pick areas, so I left that as one solid piece. Now this time I decided to do it in this white container that I knew that wasn't going to melt. It's a takeout container, but I started on itself and it was not coming undone. So I take my time and I use like my scissors and I kind of get in between to kind of separate it from itself and just keep applying that. Eventually you'll get it apart. I brought out my tape again to roll it over the image. Zach got it to Alright, there she is. And then I added some of the bling. And first I added resin to the bling to keep that in place. And then added resin to the rest. And I think I used way too much on the outside. It came out pretty good. And there's the bling. I love how the earrings turned out. Now all I have to do is just add a backer to that, and she can wear it on her hoodie. Or whatever my daughter decides to do with it. I can backer to it so that it could be a keychain. And it just turned out pretty good.
I can see you looking at me. Yeah, my eyes are open wide.
Okay, thank you so much for watching. And if you like what you see, like and subscribe. And if you'd like to see more of these, let me know. And that's the original size, and that's how much it shrank down to. And that was the original drawing. And then I can always erase untamable and put something else there, like frisky or happy or hungry or thirsty, nappy. I can do whatever I want to it. Thanks for watching, you guys. Have a great one. Bye-bye.